Hello and welcome to my first ever video review of shows and markets and events that I go to as a stall holder, selling my small business, selling wire art and other art stuff. So if it's helpful, like and subscribe for more and things like that, follow and all that malarkey. So my first show I'm going to be reviewing is the Somerset show. I'll read what it says from their website, what it says about them. Somerset show, the only award-winning free entry one-day agricultural show in the southwest, held on the third Sunday in August, building 160 years of history. Somerset show offers something for everyone, including the ever popular sheep show, which is, I'm pretty sure, most shows I've been to, as well as new livestock classes, trade stands, cheese awards, Somerset Cider Championship, lots of main ring entertainment, with entry remaining free for pedestrians. But yet it costs £20 per car, which is still very reasonable for a show this size. And the show provides fun-filled value for money, day out for the family. Come along and support your local agricultural show. So the Somerset show is, as the name suggests, in the middle of Somerset. It's in Shepton Mallet, just about a mile away from the Bath and West Showground, which is another big show, which is obviously in the area. Now, on their website, they have a picture of their show from last year, which, looking at that, if I can see it there, it's quite a compact but fairly large show. Everything's together, which will turn to be, as this review will go, not the case for this year. So let's start with price. So as a stall holder, it costs £90 for a 3 metre by 3 metre pitch with a bring your own gazebo thing. There were bigger pitches available, but obviously the price goes up, but I opted for the standard 3 metre by 3 metre pitch. You could have also had what they called undercover pitches, which were 3 metres by 3 metres again, which you would assume was inside a marquee, but it's not. It's on the outside of a marquee sort of thing, where it's just got the 2 inner walls, or 3 inner walls if you're a middle stall, with no outer walls protection at all. So that was £170, which obviously I didn't opt for that, and I think that is, if you went there the day before to set up, your stall's completely open to the weather. So yeah, that was that. So it costs £90 for me. That's like the higher end of prices I'd want to pay. Obviously I'm just a small business. I say £100 is kind of my limit, with maybe going a little bit over for some, like the New Forest show is a little bit more, but mostly I'd say £100 is my limit. But I prefer to be paying less. Obviously everybody prefers to be paying less than that, but that is very much my limit. So the show size itself is quite a large show. I didn't get to see too much of it because, being a stall holder by yourself, you don't really get to look at the most of the show. But where the shopping part of the show was, it's very much you had to drive through the entire show to get to that part. So it's very much right at the back, but there was a few car parks. But for where we had to enter, it was right at the back. So I drove through the entire show to get to my stall, and yeah, it was a very large show. Like, it had all the animal bits that you could want. Like, there was cows, there's sheep. We were near a show jumping for horses, and lots of stuff for horses going on there. And there was a dog show as well, which was a small, from what I heard, a small open show. The dog show itself brought in its own challenges. So the show layout, in that picture, which I'll put up here somewhere, from last year, it looked like it was fairly compact, fairly put together. whilst this year it was awful. Well, not awful. It was good for some people, not for the smaller stalls. I'd say any of the smaller stalls really, as you got the show ring on one side. So just for the they call it the shopping arcade, which in itself was not great where it was, but they had the show rings where they had the show jumping, and they had a line full of stalls running along that, of which everyone walked up and down there. So that's obviously the main thing. They were all bigger stalls, so it makes me think they were the more expensive ones. I don't know if they paid more per square meter, but they were definitely more like, I don't need more than 3 meters by 3 meters realistically. And then the other side of that was another line of gazebos and stalls, which again people would walk on there. And then there was a big gap to the other side, of which had stalls going out in with 3 or 4 deep, or maybe 5 deep actually, of which people weren't really looking on that side to start off with. And then you get to where I was, and it was I'm willing to say I was put in the worst pitch in the entire show. So my stall is, I drew a little diagram actually. So my stall was here on the X, and the flow of traffic. So as you can see, the arrows here are where like my shop front, my selling point was. So they're facing forwards because we're all very close together. Like some shows give you like a foot in between your stall. This one very much didn't. We were compact. So they're facing forward. The stall over here, they're facing forward, and they're facing forward. Or front facing, sorry. So the queue of like footfall would come around here or around here, and as with most people, unless like they can't see where I am there at all, not helped by this lady here, she had clothes and she had an extra rail out here. I probably should have said something, but you know, being new to this sort of game, it's not really my personality to open up and speak loud to people. But you know, so because of that, I had barely any foot traffic to my stall, and yeah, it wasn't great. Like the little traffic that went through there, barely come here, but most of it was like walking along here. And then to add insult to injury, we had a dog show in front of us here, which is, again, that sounds great. Sounds like you're going to have people drawn to your area because there's something going on. But all the people with the dog show brought their own gazebos and to guard their dogs from the heat, of which then they filled up all the space here, so made people who were walking past up here less, or down here, wherever, people who were walking up and down less likely to come over here because they couldn't see us, just for the fact that there was dog show gazebos with all their sides up, which is a bit annoying realistically, because they end up with a better pitch than me and they don't even have to pay for it. But so value for money for customers, that's something I think, because a lot of shows have put all their prices up. From what I've heard, this one has gone up. It used to be completely free, and then from what I heard, it was £10 last year per car, and this year it's £20. But £20 for a car, if you bring a car full of people or just as a family, that's a really good deal. Because say there's 4 of you, that's £5 each. Most shows, most like agricultural shows, you're talking £20 each minimum. So I think that is really good. The amount of footfall, like the amount of people that were there was a lot of people there. It's just they weren't. People are a bit like sheep, aren't they? Like in cattle, they go where they're kind of like directed to go. They very rarely go against the flow. They were just directed to go up and down that aisle. There was no real need for them to go, because particularly as like the shopping aisles as well. I'll go back to this picture. Say I was there. There was another line there, like the other. So there was a line behind me, and they're facing out that way. And then there was another line there. So there was no, like, a lot of people don't like going up and down tiny little aisles. Like, that's something I've found out to my detriment as well, is that people don't particularly like going down up and down aisles unless there's a reason, like they're going somewhere, of which then they've got a reason to go there. But the amount of people that were there was a lot of people there, just not in the places for me as a stall holder that I would like them to be. So the like having a little look around. So I had a little look around like the shopping area where we were, and the like diversity of traders. So there wasn't anyone like me. There wasn't too many other people. Like there was a couple of gin stalls, a couple of fudge stalls, of which in a small space they probably could have like been a bit like, or maybe we're trying not to. But I think the diversity of stalls fairly good. There wasn't like a massive amount of like the same trader, you know. But I don't know if that's something that they look into, or if it's just something that just happened. Now, the organisers. I think a good show, or a good market, or a good event should have your organisers come and see you at least once. Didn't see them once. The only time I saw someone was when they were coming to complain about the way everybody was parked, because no one was parked where they're supposed to park, basically. And that was it. I got there, I set up my stall, I found the picture by myself. They didn't really direct you other than that's the field you've got to be in. No one come and checked on you. No one come and said hello or anything, which for me that's really bad customer service. At the end of the day, particularly if their show is free, us stall holders are their customers. They should be looking after us like before anything else, really. And like if someone had come up to me, I could have said about my concerns about, because the lady on the clothes stall, she arrived there after I'd set up. It takes me a good 2 hours to set up. She arrived at 10 to 9, of which the show opened at 8:30, and we had to be like they said, traders and non-movement by 9 o'clock. I couldn't exactly move my stall. Plus, I wouldn't even know where to move my stall because no one was there. And trader parking, admittedly everybody did just park. There was a field next to us. This is another thing. But where they wanted us to park was on the other side of the show, which would have been impossible to have got to, because it was a good 20-minute walk. And when all the show was in, it took the guy who was next to me, he was selling gin, it took him, he said 40 minutes from entering the show to actually getting to the pitch. So there would have been no chance. Like, particularly if you're on your own, you have to leave your stall for that long. That's nearly an hour you're leaving your stall. That's ridiculous. Like, there's something better needs to be done there. Admittedly, we all parked somewhere we shouldn't, but that was more of a necessity rather than a want, really. I would have parked where they told me to, it's just everybody else wasn't. That was it, really. I didn't have a very good day. I didn't make my money back. I emailed them my concerns, took them a little while to reply, which then they apologised, which then I said that doesn't really do, an apology and promising next year would be better, doesn't really do anything for me. Which then they offered me a partial refund, which again, I don't think it's particularly great. They should have offered me a full refund, but you take what you can, really. And would I go again? No, I would not. But that's just on my experience. Would I say to you not to go again? No, not to go. I would say I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to go because it's cheapish for a show, like particularly for that area, make sure you ask for a good pitch because if it's anything like what I was put, it wasn't it. And yeah, I think I'm going to score these reviews out of 10 and I would score this, let's say, because of the amount of people there, it could be a really good show if you're put in the right pitch. I would give it a 4.2 out of 10, just off the top of my head. Anyway, if this helped you in any way, just leave a like, subscribe, comment, follow, whatever you need to do. It really helps, and it keeps me doing these, gives me a reason to do these, and that's it. Goodbye.